I get a lot of questions about how to handle symbology for layers that have to be viewed sometimes really close and sometimes zoomed out really far. So here's one of the things that I do. I have a map of, well, this is the state of Kentucky in the central part of the United States. I'm interested in this one county called Jefferson County, where the city of Louisville is. Sometimes I look at the county in its entirety. Sometimes I just zoom into one little neighborhood and I need to work in here. And what I like to do is when I zoom into one neighborhood, I'd like all of the local streets to be visible. But if I zoom back out to the county level, I don't want to wait for all those little streets to draw. So how do I handle that? Well, I take the streets layer and put the streets layer into the map twice. And I set mutually exclusive scale dependencies on these two layers. And I also use a definition query to filter out only the major streets. So let me show you what I mean by that. I have an older copy of the map over here in my catalog, so I'll open it up. And you can see how it looked originally when I just had one copy of the streets in my map. It's already symbolized nicely. When I zoom out to the whole county, it's a bit silly to sit and wait for all those streets to draw, right? Even though it's kind of fast. But what I'd like to do then is I'll take these streets and I'll put them in here twice. But before I do, I'm going to go up to my map and create a new group layer. And I'll call this group layer streets. And this will just help me keep my streets organized. I'm going to keep them all together in this one group. So now I'll take the streets and copy them, paste them back into the group layer. So now I've got two copies of the streets. So what I'll do is on this bottom copy, I'm going to set up a definition query where I pull out just the major roads. Now I haven't shown you the attribute table, but you can see for these streets we're coloring on a column called core class. So core class is what defines the type of road. So I'm going to select all the roads where the core class is either, so it includes any of these values, interstate ramp, expressway, or major arterial. So those are the three types of roads that I'm going to get. So this includes the values, right? That's like a SQL in clause where core class is in this list of values. Okay, so I'll apply that and I'll okay that, and now you can see we're just seeing the major roads. But if I turn on the rest of the roads, they're all still here, right? So what I'll do is now I'll set those mutually exclusive scale dependencies. So I'll say, hey, you know, when I'm zoomed out this far, I like seeing these major roads. But if I zoom in, let's say I zoom in beyond 1 to 100,000, don't bother showing me these guys, okay? Don't show this layer because I already got those roads displayed in this other layer. And then I'm going to say, oh, and by the way, if I zoom in a bit, like if I zoom in beyond 100,000, then I only want to see these guys. But if I zoom out too far, I don't want to see them. So I'm going to say if I zoom out beyond 1 to 100,000, turn the little guys off. Okay, so again, if I zoom in beyond 100,000, turn the big guys off. If I zoom out beyond 100,000, turn the little guys off. Okay, but remember, the little guys that I'm calling the little guys, it's the small streets and the major roads, right? So I'm just saying if I zoom in beyond 1 to 100,000, don't bother drawing this guy. And you can see it's not drawing because the checkbox is grayed out and there's a tiny little scale bar under it, right? So don't show this one, just show this one. It's got everything I need. But if I zoom out, turn off these guys and turn this on. So that's how you do it. And that's one way to manage taking the same layer and changing the display as you zoom in and out. You could also do this with labels, by the way. You could say, oh yeah, and if you zoom in a bit more, turn the street names on. If you want to learn more about ArcGIS Pro, check out our website, teachmegis.com. We've got a ton of classes coming up on ArcGIS Pro at all levels, from basic ArcGIS Pro up to Python and Python API. We also teach FME, and we teach a whole suite of Vertigis Studio, formerly GeoCortex, training classes for web app development. Hope to see you soon. teachmegis.com.